All right, so I'll go to the next thing, which is zero latency. This is like the Void, but it's a competitor. They have way more locations. They have 29 locations in 18 countries. It's four continents. So this one is at MGM Grand. When I was in Vegas, I did the Void there, and I did zero latency. This costs $50 for for like 30 minutes.
Okay.
So this felt way longer, and they have all original themes. You can see there like there's optical ball tracking like PSVR. So the tracking there isn't as good as the Void's tracking, and they give you much more detailed stats. Like they emailed me this, and it tells like my rank, score, overall rank, kills, assists, deaths, all sorts of stuff. It said overall rank number 30, so I don't know if that meant like I'm number 30 of all time, or just of the day, or what. But anyway, so they have four different games. It's Zombie Survival, Singularity, Engineerium, and Outbreak Origins. I only got to do Singularity because I told the guy at the front, like, I'm experienced with VR and I want something intense. So he said, all right, well, then you want to do it in Singularity. So you can do up to 8 people at once, and you can see everyone in the game. I was in a group with 5 people, and the room it's not like the Void, so it's not mapped to real objects. You're just in a big giant room, almost like a warehouse room, and you're just walking around everywhere freely. And there's actual, I mean, like there are actual walls and stuff in the game, but there's no real wall. You just would walk through the doorway instead of like through the wall, but you could walk through the wall if you wanted to. So there's a white grid on the floor, and the guns were laying on the ground. So we suited up, and then we got over there, and like they're telling us their whole spiel about do this, do that. But then they realized two of the PCs weren't working properly, so they had to get two of the people to go back out and like put new equipment on. So they had to wait for that. That was kind of annoying. And then the headset was this OSVR headset, which was like some sort of generic headset, and it wasn't comfortable, and there was no IPD adjustment, and it wasn't as good, of course, as a Rift. And then the tracking was kind of swimmy, sort of like how PSVR is. It was like a little bit swimmy on the guns. But the thing is, once the game started, it was so intense. There's so much going on. You didn't have time to even notice any tracking issues at all. And also, I saw in the news recently they're switching to WMR. So hopefully that'll make their tracking better. But WMR has its own tracking issues too. But like it'll be a better headset. I think it's some sort of HP WMR headset.
I
Maybe
wonder how
they'll.
that's going to work because obviously, if you've got, like you said, with the motion, is it motion leap,
No, there's
picking
no
up
there's
other
no leap
people's.
motion on this.
No, I mean with the
Oh.
Wix, would it not pick other people's controllers, or are they just paired to the headset? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they're gonna have like another tracking system. Maybe that optical system will be going on still, and then the WMR will be just for like individuals tracking.
Right.
That my guess is that's how it's gonna work. So this has no like heat or cold or wind or smells. There's none of that stuff in this. So that's a big difference between this and the Void. No hand tracking. You have a gun in your hand the whole time. So I played this game Singularity. This is a trailer for that. There are four different weapon types you can choose. You can choose a pulse rifle, a laser beam, a shotgun, or a railgun. They told me the railgun is like the highest scoring gun, and that like one shot you can kill enemies. So that's why I picked the railgun. And it's like really intense. Like there's enemies coming at you all the time from all directions. You're walking down these corridors, and you can use a shield, and there's like robot enemies coming at you, flying drones, laser sentries. Also, you go up and down elevators. So like there's directed walking. There are like blue arrows on the floor that are telling you like where you should go, and like that's how like I need to walk through this doorway and go over here and do all this. So there are, like I said, elevators. There are moving platforms. Like all of you are gonna get on like this platform that starts moving through the game world. So you feel like you're actually you know, floating through corridors or floating through like big open areas, where and then enemies are flying all around you. They're flying enemies, and there are these giant guns shooting at you, and you got to actually like duck and cover and get up and shoot and like in your your you can die a lot in this game. Like I died 4 times. They said the record for deaths is one person died 34 times. Um, but like in the void, you can't. I don't think you can die at all. The void there's no consequences. You can just sit there and just get shot all day, and nothing's gonna happen. You're just gonna feel the laser shots all over you. Um, so there's more serious scoring and stats tracking, like I said earlier. Um, so like yeah, it told me number 30 all time, 239 kills. So that's a lot of enemies are coming at you in this game. Um, oh, one of the coolest things in this game was at some points in the game they're like angled walkways. So you're walking straight on just a flat floor, but in the game you're walking on an angled or sometimes even a curved walkway. There was a PC game where you would like walk on curved walkways. It was a first-person shooter. I can't even remember what it's called now, but anyway, it felt like that, and it was really cool. It, like tricked your brain into thinking I'm really walking on this curved walkway, and in real life, it's just a flat floor. So this game I think was more fun than anything the Void has. It was like way more intense. It's not as immersive, obviously, but like I don't know. I might have preferred this. That what they just showed was one of the curved walkways. I might have preferred this as far as the gameplay. This for sure, but like the Void would be cooler for like someone brand new to VR. This would be probably too intense. Like there were some people that had never done VR that I think were just overwhelmed because this was insanity. But like they have other games like this zombie game. That's probably like slow moving enemies that are just like and dumb. These enemies shoot at you and are going. There's even a boss fight. This giant boss at the end. Um, so it really felt like we were fighting for our lives. So if I go back to Vegas, I'm gonna do this again. Try one of the other games. I'll do the Void again, for sure. So I think that's about it.
Does it? Do you think that they'll? I mean, I know we've got it for the PSVR, but like every time I see something like this, I just wonder why we don't have guns for the PC. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just the immersion and even the way the aim controller is designed. If you just completely rip that off and put it into PC,
Yeah.
having both analog sticks, it's just amazing. The immersion it brings to the game.
Mm-hmm.
I buy games for my PSVR just because it's got aim support.
Yeah.
I feel like some companies should be doing this.
There are PC guns. I think they're just expensive, and it's up to the developer to support it, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I've got a gun stock, which I've. But the problem is that there isn't anything really other than multiplayer stuff to use it with. So it seems like developers are not really making two-handed guns a lot in single-player stuff, which is obviously the main problem. It needs to be supported, obviously. If Oculus, for example, decided to make a peripheral gun, then they've got to make games to support the gun, and developers have got to get on board with it. So I like the fact that Sony have done this, and I think it's. I don't. Does anyone know how well it's sold? Whether it is, I know it's done relatively well because it's like a peripheral. I can't say peripheral of a peripheral, almost. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean the immersion. I've got a mammoth something or other. It actually uses magnets. So it's rather than like some of the where they go on the top, and you have the cups. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually magnets underneath,
Mm-hmm.
which I like that more because it feels more natural. So when you pull the gun off, that you actually just roll it off underneath, and then you just pull it back up, and you can match up. Obviously, like in something like contractors, you can line everything up so that when you pull your hand up to the front grip, the magnet kind of just clicks into place. So it feels really good, and I've put weights on mine as well. I've got like ankle weights, so it actually feels like it's got weight to it, and I've packed out my butt so I can pull it up against my shoulder. When I play games with it, I love using it, but there just isn't really anything other than multiplayer games to make use of it. I don't find at the moment, so that's the main problem with gun stocks at the moment.
Yeah,
I
like
think.
if you tried it with a single player game, it wouldn't even work because the gun would be in some weird ass position, right?
Most of the single player stuff is all single-handed stuff. Even the rifles, you don't really have to two-hand them. You just kind of just hold them out.
Mm-hmm.
That's why these more serious like Onward and Contractors work because you've got the whole reload mechanic, and it just feels really cool when you're pulling your hand off and you're putting a magazine in and you just pop it up again.
Mm.
It feels really good, and obviously you can steady the way that you can steady your aim, and when everything's one to one, so it does feel really good. I haven't tried an aim, but I imagine how good it must feel.
Yeah.
And the benefit I've got is obviously I've got a butt, so I can actually pull it up to my shoulder as well. So
And
go ahead.
what you're talking about is a game supporting the actual Rift controllers, whereas Roots is talking about an actual separate peripheral gun
yeah, that's what I'm
that's going to
saying.
be even less supported.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's
Yeah.
not if someone made something like that, who's gonna? It's getting support for it. Whereas because it's a Sony actual, they've funded this. I mean, the Farpoint was made around that around the aim controller. So,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously then other developers are now supporting the aim controller. So I just don't see us getting something like that on the PC. Personally, I don't think we'll get it. We'll get gun stocks that use the existing controllers, but I don't think we'll see anything that's a separate gun that doesn't use uses it's basically its own motion controller
There are separate
effectively.
guns for PC, but they're hundreds of
Well,
dollars.
yeah, they're very expensive, very expensive. But don't they use the existing motion controls to like latch on
No,
or
there are ones that are
clip
totally
on?
separate.
They're only like $250 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, they're crazily priced, and you probably can't use them with anything. Like, who
Well,
knows?
you're literally only going to use them for. I think Arizona Sunshine, they bought out their 200 weapon update, which was built around one of these guns.
Hmm.
But the gun is so expensive, no one's going to buy it. So I don't know whether they got paid to support it or what. But yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem with any of this stuff. It's like with the with the index controllers or knuckles. It's going to be down to the developers to support the features of that controller. Otherwise, you're just going to be playing it similar to what you've already got. So
I think in this game I reloaded there, like cocking it, like there's a slide thing on the bottom. I think
like
that's
a
how.
shot type thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I think there's some, but it would be cool, I guess. And maybe it's not feasible, but I'd love to have a PC aim controller. But so if that's about it, if we can move on to Alex's second game.